YouTube, thank you for tuning in again. Today with a special, the history of Witchfire. As a long-time Witchfire supporter, I started my journey when Witchfire entered early access with version 0.1 in September 2023. Since I'm not related in any form to the dev team, this video will focus on the shift of things from the early access release up until today, without all the iterations and changes the game saw even before the early access. This would be another story to tell. I hope this video will be interesting for you right now, as for all future audiences, to have a retrospective where the game came from and what has been the state of the art. Since the launch, a lot of the game mechanics have changed, and most of them for the better. But surely one thing still hits the same. Gunplay and atmosphere are still top notch. I think we can all agree on that. Let's dive into the evolution of Witchfire, how and why things evolved, and what you might have missed during the early access. And to round things up, I'm gonna add a little verdict and a retrospective view on the changes and what I personally hope will be in the future. Version 0.1. Let's be honest here. Version 0.1 was brutal. The game was so punishing that it resembled a soulslike like no other. The game was Cuphead or Sekiro as a first-person shooter. We didn't have any classes to choose from though, so we started as what is now the Penitent. Equipped only with hunger on level 1 and no access to any form of healing before you leveled up for the first time, and yeah, you had to brew your own healing potions yourself. But enemy camps would spawn a lot of enemies. In fact, so many enemies that you would run out of ammo or most likely out of health before you cleared even 2 or 3 of the easier camps. Because consuming a manifestation didn't grant healing too. So if you died during the very first expedition, well, too bad. Go and try again, because healing potions would only be available as of level 2. And clearing the 2 camps might not be even enough to level up, because you needed at least 3500 Witchfire for it. The healing was later patched with a hotfix, but that was where we started. The visual clutter didn't make surviving easier either. So you really had to watch your steps. More healing potions would only come up if you leveled, so at around level 50 you would have 4 healing potions. As of our gear, the game shipped with 6 weapons. Vulture as our only demonic weapon, 3 relics, 3 fetishes and 3 rings. Then we had 5 light spells and 4 heavy spells. All gear was to be researched in a specific order, and you had to have enough level progression to unlock them too. So it took quite a while of grinding before you get your hands on better or even more gear. And the grind was long and hard, because we didn't have Gnosis, the difficulty system yet. Every level up would increase the amount of and spawn new types of enemies. You level up and the game got even harder. It was brutal. Also, the game shipped with only 2 maps, the Scarlet Coast, which was our status map, and the Iron Gate Castle, which would unlock after defeating the Shield Bearer on Scarlet Coast. So before he became a calamity, he was the first boss on Scarlet Coast. And man, was he tough. So we didn't have any beginner maps, and we have literally been thrown into cold water. Almost any mistake during your runs would punish you with an increase of the calamity bar, which wasn't even visible, so you had no clue when a calamity would hit you. Seemingly it came out of nowhere, even though it never was random. It's just that the game didn't tell you about it. You try to shoot without bullets, calamity counter. Try to use an elixir that you don't have, calamity counter. Moving too slow or too hasty, calamity counter. You didn't think about the Roman Empire, calamity counter. Sometimes it just felt random and unfair, and it could be quite frustrating. And to top it off, before the first hotfixes, calamities didn't even grant you rewards. It was the purest form of punishment. It was torture. So the easiest or safest way was rushing to the catalyst, which was still visible on the minimap, and to destroy the catalyst skulls before the calamity even launched. The calamity felt like a constant threat. Every mistake hurt twice, not only because you potentially lost health before, but you knew what was awaiting you and you didn't get anything for it. And because, therefore, you would just rush for the catalyst, so the system sometimes felt more annoying than fun. But as we know and love the devs, hotfixes came fast and reliably, sometimes 3 patches a week, issuing the most dramatic problems in 0.1 and shaping the things to come. With calamities finally granting rewards, healing being available from the get-go, and buffs to ammo capacities and damage tweaks for Hunger and Beloved Echo, the game got a little bit more forgiving. Also, the Warden and the traps would only spawn after some more level progression, so you would not get struck with a Warden on a fresh level 2 character. I gotta be honest here, and maybe the gameplay shows. With about 500 hours into Witchfire, I know the game in and out. And it might seem that the game isn't hard to me anymore, which might be the case, because I know movement patterns, I know which arcana to pick, and how to combine all of those together. Still, until I leveled up enough to get my hands on some basic gear, the game was tough and rough. And even with my leveled gear, it is still a challenge, with health and especially stamina management, and all the visual clutter. More often than not, I would get hit and lose stamina, be staggered, receive more hits, and be close to death. One silly mistake could potentially be devastating, so you had to play with a lot of care. I really enjoyed playing this version, but I could really see how rough the game was on some edges. It ran smooth, it felt great, but some mechanics needed to be overhauled. What I felt was most annoying was the randomness of the given arcana. Even with no decay gear on your hands, the game would throw some of those arcanas at you. And since feathers were quite scarce, a chest would usually give you just 1 or 2 if you didn't level luck yet. Rerolling your arcana was necessary but hard to come by. So, with the devs listening to our complaints and our feedback, things would surely change for the better. Even though I'm really sad not to be able to reroll arcana like we did in 0.1. I like this system a lot, so let's see what will be in the future. I hope you enjoyed the first video of this series. In the next episode we will jump into the Ghost Galleon update, and man, what an update the devs delivered. Let me know in the comments below what you remembered from the 0.1 launch and what you liked and disliked about it. Stay tuned, see you next time, and as always, have a good one.